Okay, and I should be live. Before we get started today, you might notice that my voice may or may not sound off. I've been pretty sick, so you'll have to excuse me on that. If you find me too annoying to listen to, well, you can always fuck off. I mean, that's an option. If not, let's carry on. So today we're going to take a look at. Let me just bring it up here on the screen. Damn it, I'm not doing too good of a job here. Okay. No, not the live stream window. We're gonna take a look at the Instagram account of Kevin Smith's daughter. Yes, the famous director of Clerks and creator of Jay and Silent Bob and other fun characters you may love. Yeah, we're gonna look at his daughter's Instagram account because I came across a tweet that he had posted claiming that someone tried to slut shame his daughter. Now, I don't know when this term slut shaming became so popular to use, but I honestly can't stand it. To me, slut shaming isn't a real thing, okay? Since when has it not been shameful to be a slut? Now, I'm not saying she's a slut. I'm just saying that if you are a slut, you should be ashamed. I mean, that's just how it works. If you do feel the shame for being a slut, those feelings come from within. You're insecure in your life choices, you know? So you want the validation from everyone around you to tell you that what you're doing is okay so that you can feel okay about it. I mean, if you're truly okay with your choices and the way you live your life, you don't need other people to validate it for you. If somebody called me a slut and I was proud of being a slut, I don't know why I would ever feel that way, then I wouldn't care because I'm enjoying what I do and I would feel that what I'm doing is right for me. So it wouldn't matter. But anyway, let's get into it here. I don't know what the original comment was because there's quite a few, but this is the costume in question. You know, nothing too bad. There's a lot of arguing in the comments here, but there's way too many for me to find the original comment that started the shitstorm. So we're just going to go to her big explanation post. You know, this is that thing that celebrities love to do when somebody gets on their case and they have to have a big coming out and make a giant stink of it in order to justify what they're doing. So without further ado, let's read through this. I shouldn't have to explain myself, but some people are so ignorant that I feel like I have to put some sense into the situation. The fact that people have the nerve to slut shame and body shame me, a 16-year-old girl who is fully capable of making her own rational decisions, is ridiculous. Now, we all know how rational 16-year-olds are. Halloween is my favorite day of the entire year, and the fact that people would go out of their way to comment on not only mine, but my father's photo to either criticize his parenting or to shame me for my promiscuous outfit is just truly like you're trying to take the fun out of my day. Okay, so if somebody actually called that outfit promiscuous, I think that's a huge stretch. It's actually not that bad of a costume, so I don't know why they're making a big deal out of it. But anyway, women and men are in charge of their own bodies. So why, when it comes to women, are we so harshly criticized? I am allowed to wear whatever I want, and I really shouldn't have to explain myself, but it honestly alarmed me how quick people were to judge me for simply showing cleavage. Well, okay. You know, obviously, women shouldn't be more harshly criticized for doing the same thing, but to be honest, it's mostly women that wear more revealing clothing. And while you are entirely allowed to wear whatever it is you want, you know, that people are also allowed to have opinions about that. So there's nothing you can really do to stop that. However, what shocked me more was their urgency to point it out to my father and I, therefore not only bringing it to my family's attention, but also spreading the idea of slut shaming. Oh no. Do I have to remind you all that I'm 16? So you're going to pull the age card, yet you're saying that you can make your own decisions. You can take that in either way, as I'm too young or old enough to dress that way, but don't verbalize your opinions if you know, and you definitely do know if you have a functioning brain, that they're going to be hurtful. So you can only leave positive comments. I'm sorry, but that's never going to happen on the internet for a vast variety of reasons. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that you're not going to get this perfect world where everybody's giving positive comments or saying nothing at all. Being 16 means to me that I'm a smart, sensible woman who is fully in charge of their mind and body, so I really don't need anybody trying to interfere with my capabilities. So the next time anyone thinks it's a good idea to shame anyone for the way they dress or look, think twice, you misogynistic little fuck. See, okay, that's not the definition of misogyny, because your comments can be very hurtful to a lot of people, and you're also setting yourself up to be the next modern day and age slut-shamer. I believe you mean shamer. And for the record, whatever you assholes were trying to accomplish, whether it was ruin my night or make my parents reconsider their parenting skills, you did not succeed, because I had the most fun on Halloween, and my parents know they raised me right, so you just wasted time out of the best day of the year to be a complete and utter idiot. Kind of like, wasting time responding to somebody that you claim their opinion doesn't really matter. So this is just a big posturing, I'm right for my choices are okay. Of course, all the comments are, oh, here we go. Just because a woman bears little flesh, why does it automatically mean she's sexually promiscuous? Well, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that. But to be fair, the body can be a sexual object. Obviously men and women are attracted to each other's bodies and the different attributes they possess, and to deny that would be a little bit insane. Now, I don't think that clothing gives somebody the right to treat you in a particular way. However, you do have to admit that certain outfits, if they're showing the parts that are more often than not sexualized on a person's body, if it's accentuating those features, you do have to admit that it sends a certain message. And if you're going to put yourself out there in those clothes, you have to take into account that, okay, not everybody is going to praise me for this. Not everybody is going to treat me with the respect I deserve. And I'm not saying that that's fair to do, but unfortunately that's the world we live in, and that's the way it works. People do these things and you're not going to stop them. But the thing I think is sort of a double standard. She's trying to call out some sort of double standard here. But what I think, going more and more into these photos, I took a little bit of a look around just because, I wanted to get a general idea of what it is she usually posts and see if maybe, okay, maybe that's the most, sexualized thing she's ever worn on here. And that kind of threw people off. But if you take a closer look, the answer is no. I mean, this outfit is definitely much worse, showing a lot more skin than the Halloween costume. Once again, I'm not saying that makes it okay for people to make these comments towards a 16-year-old girl, but unfortunately, if you're putting your body out there on the internet, there are going to be people that are going to give you shit. There are going to be people that are going to talk to you without any respect. I mean, regardless of whether or not you dress in a certain way, people are going to say these things to women, unfortunately. But okay, so a photo like this, look at these comments. Just a terrific butt, unbelievable. I would destroy that like Hiroshima. Nice butt, things like that. Damn. But you don't see anybody making a giant post calling these comments out when they're aimed at a 16-year-old. Now, for all I know, these comments could very well be coming from other teenage boys, but does that make them any less okay? Or, I'm sorry, any more okay? It's like the only sexual comments that are allowed are the positive ones, as long as they're coming from the right person, why isn't she making a post saying, hey, just because this is my outfit, it doesn't mean that I'm welcoming sexualized comments towards me. Why is she aiming it towards oh, you're just trying to slut shame me? If you're not a slut, you don't have anything to worry about. Unfortunately, people are going to be disrespectful. It's kind of just the way it goes, and you sort of have to deal with it no matter who you are. But let's look at something like this here. I mean, come on. This photo right here. Look at this pose. Who actually does this? I mean, if you're going to try to make the claim that there's nothing sexual about this, you're being completely dishonest. And if you're going to pull the, oh, I'm just 16 card, well, maybe you should realize, oh, I'm just 16 and maybe I shouldn't be posting things like this, because you have a few options here. You can realize that people on the internet are jerks, and the anonymity aspect is going to give them more reason to be a jerk, and you can continue to post what you want to post and ignore that. Or you can not post things that are going to garner negative attention. But I forgot, we can't do that because everybody has to care about what we post. And I've seen people make the claim like, oh, it's not for attention or anything. I'm sorry, but there's really no other reason to post something like this. There just isn't. And I would say it's especially inappropriate for someone that is so underage. I know there was a comment here. Let's see. Just try to look through them a little bit more. Okay, so see, someone says she has to post pictures like this. She's desperate for followers. And of course, her reply is, yo, don't be a dick. I mean, she didn't even say anything. He didn't say anything that bad, but apparently somebody says the guy that has to have his profile picture with his shirt off. So if he does, I didn't look at his profile. I'm not going to, because I don't really give a fuck, because that's not what this is about. But if he does have his shirt off in his profile picture, that is a little hypocritical of him to say. It's no different. You shouldn't hold them to a different standard. But, someone's else like, you're just angry because you can't even talk to a girl who's as pretty as her. Wow, what the fuck is with the cockless trolls following and bashing women for no reason? See, they always have to turn it into the gender thing, like, oh, bashing women. Well, I hate to break it to you, pal, but me personally, while shirtless Wonder over here may hold people to different standards like that, I personally don't. If you are a man and you're shirtless in your profile picture, or you're a woman and you're in a bra in your profile picture, I'm going to think you're both idiots. And it doesn't matter what you have on your chest or swinging between your legs or not swinging between your legs. What the fuck does it have to do with wanting followers? Well, what do you think it has to do with it? People obviously do find her very attractive because they're leaving very sexual comments about her body. But once again, you only see people talking about the comments that are aimed at her in a negative way, not the whole, oh, so hot, very sexy. I mean, how is it okay for them to say that about a 16-year-old in that way, but it's somehow not okay when they say, oh, maybe you shouldn't be dressing like this on the internet when posting your photos of it? And I mean, let's be fair here. I'm going to go down a little bit just to one more picture I came across. I believe it's down further. Not entirely sure. Naturally, I would lose sight of it. Well, anyway, if I don't find it, there was one posted where she was just wearing a pair of shorts out in public and her ass cheek was sticking out. Now, call me crazy, but I personally don't feel like that's something anybody needs to be seeing. And, people are leaving comments like, oh, that ass and all that stuff. And it's like, really? How come nobody is calling this out as poor behavior towards a 16-year-old? But the moment that it's a negative comment, we're saying, maybe you shouldn't be dressing like this, it's a problem. I don't think slut-shaming is a real thing. I think people are just feel insecure, and they want the validation of the world around them for the choices they make. And when they can't have it, they need a reason to justify it. So they'll say, oh, you're just being sexist. You're just being a misogynist. You're just slut-shaming me. Well, try living life the way you believe. And if you truly believe in it, you won't feel ashamed of it. And that's how I feel about it. As far as this goes, personally, I don't think her Halloween costume is bad. I don't think it warranted any negative criticism. In fact, I think some of the other photos she posted warrant more negative criticism than that. I mean, especially the one of just her and her friend and their backsides. It's like, why else would you post that picture? There's nothing there that it's drawing attention to aside from your ass. And you can argue, oh, well, maybe they were posting it for the view they were overlooking. Well, why not just post a photo of the view then, you know? Anyway, that's enough on this topic. I think it's pretty stupid, but that's what I talk about here, things that I think are stupid for the most part. And hopefully you didn't cringe too hard at my sick voice, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.